With the last two Human Torch actors in the 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four movies, Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan. Chris Evans played a Human Torch, he went on to be Captain America. Michael B. Jordan played a Human Torch, he went on to be Eric Killmonger in Black Panther. And now, we don't have to worry about that because this is not 20th Century Fox and Joseph Quinn will probably stay as the Human Torch in the long run. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of Fantastic Four First Steps. The Fantastic Four First Steps is the second attempt at rebooting the Fantastic Four, and it is the first film in Phase 6 of the MCU, as well as the 37th MCU film overall. This film is directed by Matt Shakman of WandaVision, and this film stars Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Ebon Moss-Backrack as The Thing. Set in the 1960s retro-futuristic alternate universe, the Fantastic Four are trying to balance their family bond and heroism with new threats on the rise being Silver Surfer and Galactus. It's up to the Fantastic Four to defend the Earth. Before I get into my review of Fantastic Four, any new viewers coming across my channel for the first time, welcome to my channel. I am Jack Benner. I do movie reviews on here, both old and new, and from time to time I do some top 5 lists or ranking videos on here. So if you're looking for either of those, you're definitely in the right place. So you like movie content, like we see so far, definitely considering that like and subscribe button for more exciting movie content down the road. The Fantastic Four definitely had a not-so-fantastic journey on the big screen. There had yet to be one considered above average, and going as far as technically considering both Incredibles movies to be the only good Fantastic Four movies. There was the 1994 movie from Roger Corman, and that movie was only seen through physical media bootlegs, and that movie is cheesy up the wazoo, given its cheap low-budget effects and hammy acting, but I can consider that movie entertaining in a so-bad-it's-good way. And then we get to both of the Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s. There was the 2005 Fantastic Four movie. I remember enjoying this movie as a kid. I do have some nostalgia for it, but looking back to it, doesn't entirely hold up. I actually do think the actors did a good job, well, minus Jessica Alba as Sue Storm, who I thought was terrible. And Michael Chiklis was the best thing about this movie as The Thing, but it just suffered from minimal action, hit-and-miss effects. For its first big-budget Fantastic Four movie on the big screen, it should have been so much better. And that going along with Dr. Doom, who just felt like Green Goblin's story from the first Spider-Man. And rest in peace to Julian McMahon. I thought he did a good job in the role, but he deserved a better script. Then in 2007 came the sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer. I'd say it was a partial improvement over the first, but still a mediocre superhero sequel. Visuals again are hit and miss, and this movie has underwhelming villains from the Silver Surfer and Galactus. That was Galactus, just a big planet hole. What? After Rise of the Silver Surfer underperformed at the box office, we got a reboot in 2015, Fantastic. With the amount of potential that movie had from its director, Josh Trank, who just made Chronicle, which is an awesome, unique superhero movie, plus a talented cast playing the Fantastic Four, that movie was one of the most tedious, disappointing, and devastating films I have ever sat through in my movie-going life. That movie was dull, grim, boring, tedious, uneventful, and most of all, meaningless. Just a complete waste of a talented cast who looked miserable to be there, and that could be due to the reshoots and Josh Trank's on-set behavior from what I've heard. And honestly, if I were on set making that movie, I wouldn't be happy either. Subpar visual effects, Dr. Doom was ridiculous, and I find it baffling that was the same actor who played Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, a phenomenal villain, to that. And worst of all, nothing freaking happened in that movie. Barely any action until the climax, and just seeing the four use their powers, and it's just so monotone and grim, it's just so freaking boring to watch. And it's such a horrible attempt at being a dark and gritty Fantastic Four movie where it just fails. You're just trying to be in the Nolan Batman trilogy of Fantastic Four. I wouldn't mind a dark and gritty superhero movie unless there's entertainment value or an engaging story. Neither of those were present in Fantastic. It's my pick for the worst movie of 2015 and one of the worst superhero movies I've ever seen. Up there with Batman and Robin, Catwoman, and recently, Madam Web. After the critical and financial disaster of Fantastic leading to the sequel being cancelled, and later the Disney-Fox merger, it was announced in July 2019 the Fantastic Four were being transferred to the MCU. After an underwhelming track record, I was feeling optimistic about a new Fantastic Four movie in the MCU. I was possibly hoping, under the right hands, that Marvel's first family would finally get a good movie. And based on the casting announcements and what they were planning for their vision here, this was one of my most anticipated MCU projects. And to give you 4 reasons, no pun intended, to why I was excited for this movie. Number 1, this was going to be different from previous Fantastic Four movies. This is not an origin story, Doctor Doom is not the main villain, and the setting with a 1960s futuristic setting sound interesting to me. Number 2, Matt Shakman was directing, who directed WandaVision. I really loved his direction for that show. What I could say for WandaVision, I loved the first half of the show. Second half, not as good, but still a really good MCU show. I would give that a 4 out of 5. So I was eager to see what he could bring to the table for Fantastic Four, making me believe he had a unique vision and wasn't just a director for hire. Number 3, the terrific cast playing the Fantastic Four. I think all of them seemed right for the part, and I was excited to see how they would make it their own. Number 4, the trailers were exciting and seemed to be indicating what it was promising. After enjoying Thunderbolts in May, and that put the MCU on the right track, Fantastic Four was one of my most anticipated movies of the summer. I was just like, okay, just with the amount of potential this movie had, just please don't disappoint me with a Fantastic Four movie yet again. I saw Fantastic Four opening night, very excited, but the question is, did they get this film right? Yes, they did. Now, not without its flaws, to which I'll get to later, but I am delighted to say we finally got a great Fantastic Four movie after so long. This movie is funny, heartfelt, exciting, and continues to put the MCU on the right track and a strong start to Phase 6. To start my pros, the first thing I definitely want to give props to is Matt Shakman. I'm sure he felt some pressure to make a good Fantastic Four movie, but with his unique vision here, I think his confidence absolutely shows. With WandaVision, he does seem to have a knack for bringing a retro, old-fashioned style to the MCU. If you remember in that show how it did old TV like I Love Lucy, Bewitched, and The Brady Bunch show, I think the retro style works wonderfully here without feeling gimmicky. This is one of the most unique-looking MCU movies based on its presentation and aesthetic that is very pleasing. He knows how to really set the tone and vibe to make this movie feel distinct. The 1960s futuristic aesthetic succeeds tenfold from the stellar production design, great costume design, and amazing visual effects work. And this movie was shot on Fantastivision, which is like their homage to VistaVision. If you don't know, that was a widescreen format used for 1950s film, and the last film to use VistaVision recently was The Brutalist. And I feel like that widescreen format does add to the retro feeling more, and the visual effects work here is amazing, for the most part, from each member of the Fantastic Four using their powers in ways to help save the city and contribute, from the villains' designs of Galactus and Silver Surfer are spot on, and to help with the world building as a whole works amazingly here. With how distinguished this movie feels compared to previous MCU and Fantastic Four movies, it altogether brings a vibrant charm to make it stand out without feeling gimmicky. And for his first big blockbuster film in the MCU, Matt Shakman did a great job at approaching spectacle, and he does feel confident at crafting exciting action set pieces. And there was one space scene that did give me vibes of Interstellar, and the whole climax with the Fantastic Four against Galactus was a lot of fun too. But I mostly appreciated how he kept it a character-driven standalone story in the MCU. It just made this movie feel like a breath of fresh air that didn't require a lot of homework, where you don't really need to be like, I want to watch this show beforehand and this movie beforehand to understand this. And it's great to watch this movie on its own without being worried about this show, this movie, this and that. With what Matt Shakman showcased in MCU TV and film, if he wants to continue working in the MCU for the long run, I'm all for it. And next, we get to the Fantastic Four and the family dynamic. From my perspective, if the Fantastic Four were going to be brought in the MCU, the most crucial thing to get absolutely right is both the casting and family dynamic, because they are known as Marvel's first family. You really want to have that chemistry. If any of the actors feel miscasted or if the emotions feel surface level, then this movie absolutely fails. Fortunately, that is not the case here, because not only are the main actors fantastic, yeah, cheesy pun, I had to, whatever, but the family dynamic is the emotional core of the film, because each actor fits their role like a glove from their characteristics and likable rapport with each other. Starting with the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards / Mr. Fantastic. I was curious to see how he would do in the role, and hopefully he would be in a much better comic book movie than Wonder Woman 1984, to which he was the best part of a shit movie. But for what he did as Reed Richards, I thought he did a terrific job. And this is an actor who's been a workhorse over the past few years in TV and film. TV being The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, and popping in other movies like The Wild Robot, Gladiator 2, Materialist, and Eddington, 2 A24 films he was been in recently. Also, he's got Mandalorian and Grogu and Avengers Doomsday next year. It's like, this dude needs a break. He is working. But nevertheless, I really liked what he brought to the table for Reed. Pedro Pascal is great at nailing both the assured leader of the Fantastic Four while combining the intelligent, scientific mind of Reed Richards. And another actor who was in Gladiator 2 with Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, I thought he was great as Johnny Storm / the Human Torch. It did kind of remind me a little bit of Chris Evans in the 2 Fantastic Four movies, but I felt like he made it his own here. Quinn brings lively energy to the role, displaying the cocky and playful side, but also showing his heart of gold and willing to help out the team when necessary. And this is also an actor who's been showing up in movies after Stranger Things, like A Quiet Place Day 1 last year, Gladiator 2 like I said, and he was also in Warfare earlier this year, one of the best films of the year. So I really like seeing this actor in movies and showing more of his range. Now I thought Michael Chiklis was the best thing, no pun intended, about the 2 Fantastic Four movies, but Ebon Moss-Backrack, he is my new favorite interpretation of the Thing. And I'm familiar with this actor in The Bear, and I thought he was an excellent choice for Ben Grimm. He excellently injects humor, warmth, and vulnerability to the role, and I did love his comic accurate design through a combination of motion capture and CGI that works greatly here. But Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm is an incredible standout. Kirby excels as the film's emotional anchor, a strong and willing mother to hold her family together under any threat, along with having the most powerful and emotional scenes of the film. And there is one monologue where she's giving a speech that was excellently acted from her. That was one of the best scenes of the film, and after that scene, I was like, hell yeah. And as for the actors playing the 2 villains here, after seeing the second trailer, I was curious to see how Julia Garner was going to do as Shalabal, aka the Silver Surfer, but for what she was given to do, she did great. I felt like she was both an imposing and intimidating threat to the Fantastic Four, and it worked very well here for the scene she's in. And one actor I was very excited to see, Ralph Ineson, hope I said his last name correctly, as Galactus. Finally, a comic-accurate Galactus making up for Rise of the Silver Surfer. And if you're not familiar with this actor, he was in Robert Eggers movies like The Witch and Nosferatu recently, and also a film recommendation, one of the best films of 2021, The Green Knight. Watch that movie for his scenes, although few scenes, just listen to his voice and presence. Whoever the casting director was at the MCU for Fantastic Four, based. And just his first scene as Galactus, I got goosebumps. Just with his commanding presence, with his booming voice, just how much he serves as a massive threat, and he was menacing. For what he was given to do, I thought Innocent did a fantastic job as Galactus. For the story, in some ways it did kind of remind me of Spider-Man Homecoming, although that was definitely not sci-fi. It was more like a coming-of-age superhero film with Spider-Man mixed in with John Hughes. It did remind me of how distinct it felt compared to previous Spider-Man movies, and bringing a unique vision to it and not retell the origin story again. And that's kind of similar to what they do with Fantastic Four First Steps here. In the opening scene with news footage, it does show them before and after their mission, followed by them doing their heroic deeds. It does understand the gist of their origin story. We went to space, an accident happened, we got these cosmic powers. So I was like, okay, that's their origin story. Got it. Just them with their powers where they're more established, them as superpowers, and a new interesting story here. And just everyone respecting them and depending on them to defend the Earth, with them not just as a family, but superheroes as well. And this film does succeed as a great character-driven story. It does take its time with their conversations, their banter and rapport with each other, of their status and what's at stake here. It does work having a strong emotional core and building stakes as well. And one thing I absolutely want to give credit to, Michael Giacchino's score is, there it is again, fantastic. God, how many times did I say fantastic throughout this review? A few years ago, he made a phenomenal score for the Batman, and in 2025, he makes another incredible score for the Fantastic Four, really showing his testaments that why he's one of the best composers working today. And he's already proven that before in like Up, War for the Planet of the Apes, Star Trek. He knows how to make amazing, memorable scores, and this movie is no exception. Just the main theme is so heroic, exciting, and fitting for the sci-fi setting and what they were going for. And it's definitely one of my favorite scores in the MCU. Sadly, I do have a few flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, the villains for Galactus and Silver Surfer. Underwhelmed to say that they were quite underdeveloped. Now, nothing wrong with their performances. Innocent and Garner did a great job. But for the writing, I felt like it was a lot more to be desired. Silver Surfer did have a tragic backstory, but I felt like it was brief. It was just like, let's give her backstory. And the scene where her backstory was revealed was great, but I felt like it had some potential to be explored more to make her a truly powerful villain. And same with Galactus and motivation, which I felt like was a bit rushed. It does give him a motivation, I won't spoil what it is, but I felt like it could have been delved into more and just delve into more of his motivation, why he's doing what he's doing. And which leads me to the runtime. This movie is an hour 55 minutes. I felt like it could have used a slightly longer runtime to flesh some things out more for a more incredible story here. And finally, while the CGI was terrific, there were some CGI that did distract me, and that is mostly from the baby Frank Richards. There were some shots in this movie that were quite distracting. I was like, does that really look right? Is that an actual baby or is that CGI? And just some shots where I could clearly tell that CGI, it just felt very hit and miss. To sum up, despite that I felt like there was a lot more to be desired from the villain's writing, and I felt like this movie could have used a slightly longer runtime, the Fantastic Four First Steps feels like a unique breath of fresh air for not only the Fantastic Four, but I'd say for the MCU in general. Anchored by a likable cast with a strong emotional core, great visual effects, and terrific musical score from Michael Giacchino. Definitely recommend this movie to all MCU fans. You're excited for this movie? Definitely go see it. Can't wait to hear what you think of it. And if you're hoping for finally a good Fantastic Four film, we finally got it. And even if you've been underwhelmed with other MCU movies or Fantastic Four movies, and if you're a bit skeptical about this one, I'd say give it a chance to see if you like it or not. And after this movie, I want to see a sequel to this movie. And depending on how things will go in Avengers Doomsday next year, and if we do get a Fantastic Four sequel, I'm excited for it because I want more of this Fantastic Four, which is something I have not said in a long time. And it just feels very refreshing to say those words and definitely get Matt Shakman back to direct this sequel if it ever happens. Because I'm just over the moon to how much they got it right. And now to grade it, I'm going to give the Fantastic Four First Steps 4 stars out of 5, a B+. This is definitely one of the most entertaining movies I've seen this summer, and another entertaining superhero film after Superman 2 weeks ago. So definitely go see some entertaining movies this summer, such as this, Superman if you haven't seen it already. Oh, and for a movie that came out a month ago, go see F1 if you haven't already. That movie is freaking great. Definitely see this movie on the biggest screen you can, and of course, MCU movie, you know what to do. 2 mid-credit scene, stay for those, especially the mid-credit scene. Just don't miss that one. And the next big MCU movie coming out a year from now, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I can't wait to see how they continue Tom Holland's new Spider-Man story after No Way Home, where that movie left off, questions I have. I can't wait to see that movie a year from now, and the director of Shang-Chi is doing it. I can't wait for it. As well as Avengers Doomsday, now coming out December 2026. I think it was the right move to delay it from May to December to give extra time to work on that movie. In any other situation, I would feel upset, but I don't feel that way. I think it was the right call to delay it from May to December. I am worried about a few things for Doomsday, but I am feeling optimistic about it for now. And now with 4 comic book movies that came out this year, here's my ranking of 2025 comic book movies. Number 4, Captain America Brave New World. Number 3, Thunderbolts. Number 2, that's where I put the Fantastic Four First Steps. And number 1 is Superman for me. So that right there is how I'd rank the 2025 comic book movies this year, and how would you rank them in the comments below. Now, where would I rank the Fantastic Four First Steps in my MCU ranking now? With 37 films in total, I would rank it in between number 17, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, And number 18, I would put Fantastic Four there for now, and I would put it above Captain America: The First Avenger. So that is where I would put Fantastic Four in my MCU ranking for now. Oh, and before Fantastic Four started, just one trailer I was very excited to see, hearing it was going to play in front of this movie. Just when I thought all trailers were done, I was like, the movie's about to start. I was like, wait, where's this trailer? There was Welcome to AMC Theaters and the Nicole Kidman AMC Theaters ad I've seen a billion times. I was like, well, we're not getting the trailer. And then there was one more trailer. I was like, is this what I think it is? That was the trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash. I really liked the first two Avatar movies. I was excited for this new one, and I thought this trailer was amazing. The visuals, of course, with Avatar look spectacular. James Cameron taking them to the next level. And I just can't wait to see this movie on the biggest screen and in 3D. But also the story and characters look more engaging, and with the new Fire Tribe involved, it looks like a promising continuation. So that teaser definitely got me excited for the third Avatar film, and can't wait for it this December. So I would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of Fantastic Four: First Steps? If you've seen it, do you agree, disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it, are you interested in seeing the film or not? Let me know down below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie? Want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. My social media links will be in the description down below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and if you'd like to see my written reviews, I do have a letterbox, so if you'd like to follow me on there as well. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.